What's going on, guys? Matt here from SB Fishing TV, back with another Carl's Bait and Tackle tips and tricks video. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite fall fishing bait, and that is the spinnerbait. So we're going to go over two different spinnerbaits today, when to fish them, how to fish them, why we're fishing them, and just how effective they really are. Alright my friends, so the two blades we're going to be throwing around today, well I say blades, one of which has no blade. It's a very unique spinnerbait here. So this is the Yo-Zuri knuckleball, and the reason they call it a knuckleball is because it has a really erratic action, as if it were a baseball being thrown like a knuckleball, and this thing supposedly just has some really wild erratic action. But we're going to throw this around as well as the Catchco spinnerbait. So this is your more traditional spinnerbait, of course, but this is my favorite style to throw, especially in the fall. Just two big willow leaf blades. A lot of times in the fall I'll also beef it up with a big trailer on the back. Generally I'm gonna be throwing bigger spinnerbaits in the fall just because I find that the fish are keying in on bigger baits. The reason that they're doing that is because they're getting themselves ready for winter, so they're just literally gorging themselves full of shad, and that's also the primary forage this time of year. So that's why spinnerbaits work so well, because they're imitating those big massive shad swimming around. The biggest thing that I can say to do when you're out throwing spinnerbaits in the fall is just cover water. Literally keep the trolling motor on high and just cast your spinnerbait, reel it back to the boat, get it as close to the cover as you can, make as many pinpoint casts as possible, and just keep that trolling motor on high. Fish deep, fish shallow, fish in pockets and creeks. Definitely one of my favorite bites to get on in the fall is when you find the bait starting to push back into the creeks, and you can just hop from creek to creek and just literally start at the mouth, cruise through the whole entire thing, throw in a spinnerbait, and then once you get back out on the other side, you just roll out and go to the next one. Wasting no time on the main lake, don't even waste time fishing the points, just literally fishing creek to creek. But that's just one of the ways to catch them on the spinnerbait in the fall. I mean, you can definitely catch them on the main lake, you know, any sort of flats or points, but there are specific times when these different bites come into play, and that's something you're just gonna have to really play around with, kind of figure out when you're out on the water. There's not exactly like a guaranteed water temperature or, you know, time of day or time of year that it happens, but it does happen, so you always have to check for it. But we're gonna rig these two up really quickly, and we're gonna start working down the bank, covering some water and fishing these blades, hopefully catching a couple fish. The entire spinnerbait is a 1/2 ounce, and it's kind of different because the ball here is actually weighted. This isn't just a hollow ball. It definitely has some weight in there, and a couple rattles as well, which is different. The head is they're probably both a 1/4 ounce. So there you have it. We're gonna rig this thing up and throw it around. We had just an all chartreuse color. Typically gonna be fishing this in dirtier water. The water we're fishing today probably has 2 to 3 feet of visibility, but it should work. You know, we're gonna try it out. We're gonna see what kind of action this thing has. Yo-Zuri knuckleball. Let's see what we got. Well, it definitely casts pretty nice. I like that. I'm hoping this thing is just lights out. And I'm just gonna fish it like your standard spinnerbait. I'm fishing it just like I'd fish any other spinnerbait. Nothing different, nothing crazy. We'll see what happens. No, let's see what the action is like on this thing. Yeah, it has a pretty interesting action on it. Having that ball on there instead of a blade definitely gives it this wild kind of knuckleball action to it. I think we can catch some fish on this thing. I really should throw a trailer on here too. Give it just a little bit more of a shad profile. Something I do like about this is that you can fish it a little bit deeper, because with no willow leaf blades on it, it's gonna fall a little bit quicker. It's also not going to put off as much flash as a willow leaf, so maybe this would work a little bit better when you have sunny days as opposed to an overcast day like today. Yeah, that thing definitely has a pretty wild action to it. We'll see what the fish think about it though. Yeah, that ball on there definitely dances around quite a bit. It moves a lot of water, and with the rattles in there, I'm sure it's making a lot of noise too. All right, here we go. This is a perfect position to throw a spinnerbait through. Got a nice windy point. Got a huge tree laying off of it. Gonna throw the spinnerbait right over through that. Oh God, something whacked it. So right now we're fishing a big main lake flat, and these are the kind of areas you really want to focus on, especially in the fall, because the shad are going to start getting up on these flats. The bass are going to follow right up behind them. They're going to use these flats to kind of push them up onto to eat. They're really good spots to look for. It's also really easy to find in the sense that you can just cover so much water and find which flats are going to be good. And if you fish one, you don't get bit. It's not to say later on in the day that those fish aren't going to be there. It's something you just have to really fish quick and check it multiple times throughout the day. Oh God, I just got hammered right there. Oh, I just got him. Oh, wow, that was cool. Oh, no. That was awesome. He followed this knuckleball all the way up. Oh, that's a solid fish too. There was another one right behind him trying to eat it too. Here we go. First fish on the knuckleball. Bass approved. That's a solid fish too. Not bad. I was a little skeptical at first, but this clearly gets the job done. Here we go. Really solid fish. 2 pounds. Nice keeper. And there was another fish right behind him too. Alright you guys, so we caught one on the knuckleball. This is a really interesting looking spinnerbait. I've never thrown anything like it, and it clearly works. I've fished it for about 20 minutes. I had one bite and I had one fish chase it up and eat it, and I had another one right behind it too, which was pretty cool. But we're going to take this off. We're going to put the Catch Co spinnerbait on. But before I do that, I just wanted to tell you about my spinnerbait setup. So this is a 7-foot medium heavy, fishing it on 15-pound fluorocarbon and like a moderate speed gear ratio reel. This is a 6-4-1. And the reason that I fish it on this is because I want to be able to cast it into this tight cover and pull the fish out. You can fish it on heavier line if you're fishing super tight cover like in the spring or even in the fall if you're finding them around trees and stuff like that. But 15-pound is generally what I'm going to fish it on. But we're going to tie up that Catch Co spinnerbait and we're going to continue down this bank, see if we can catch some more. We've been covering water really fast. We've found some fish on secondary points and flats, and we haven't caught anything in the back of creeks, but I think we might get on a couple here. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so we just tied on the Catch Co spinnerbait. We also have the Stickies trailer hook on there, which is really nice, especially if you find fish are short striking the spinnerbait. It makes it a little bit harder to fish with a trailer, but the trailer hook definitely helps if you find the fish are eating it and they're just short striking a bunch, so that's very important. Keep that in mind. Definitely throw that on the back of your spinnerbaits. It's going to help your hookup ratio a bunch, and also you'd think it would get you snagged a lot more. It really doesn't. Especially when you're fishing the spinnerbait over cover, it's going to hit this bottom piece and it's just going to flap right over it. So we're going to throw this around a little bit, and again, this is the Catch Co spinnerbait, just your standard traditional spinnerbait with 2 willow leaf blades on there, and that's definitely what I like to throw in the fall because you want some big flashy blades. The willow leaf's going to be really good for that. As far as size of the spinnerbaits go, I'm going to be throwing like a 3/8 or a half and sometimes even 3/4. Like I really want a big profile when I'm fishing spinnerbaits in the fall. I won't go below 3/8. I'll usually opt for bigger willow leaf blades too, like the biggest ones I can find. And that's why these 2 on this Catch Co spinnerbait should do really well. Depending on the water clarity and weather conditions, I'll go with either 2 silver blades or a gold blade and a silver blade, or all gold. Silver when it's just overcast and clean water, and then if there's a little bit dingier water, I'll go with some gold. Gives it a little bit of extra flash. And then if the water is really dirty, I'll throw 1 really big willow leaf blade and then 1 Colorado blade on there too. If it's super dirty, just 1 giant Colorado blade usually does the trick. But you guys can see right now, I'm literally just staying on the trolling motor. Just casting all around these points and flats. This tree looks like it should have a spinnerbait fish in it. There's bait right there. Something I really like to do is when I'm coming up to a big tree like this is definitely make some parallel casts out at the front of it. It's not like you're flipping it where you really want to get on top of it and into it. You just really want to work the outsides, and then if you have some, oh, there he is. There we go, little guy, but look at that, right on the trailer hook too. Chill out, Broseph. There we go, tiny little fish. Pooped on me too. But you can see that's why we needed that trailer hook. That fish just came straight out of this tree and smoked it. Just as I was saying, like making those parallel casts out at the front of the tree can really benefit you. Alright guys, there you go. That's going to be the last fish for me. This fish was caught right up on that point, shallow water. We had some wind blowing down, just like picture perfect spinnerbait catch. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Quick tips on fishing these spinnerbaits. Let me know what you think about that crazy knuckleball spinnerbait from Yozuri. Let me know if you've had any success on it in the comment section below. I'm out of here for the day, but I really hope you guys enjoyed again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on Carl's YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next one.